Hello from the Travel Tracker. This video is for site administrators. The site administrator for a location has the authority to view the trips and vehicle and driver assignments for any of the trips at their assigned locations. When the site administrator signs on, they have access to the tabs that you see on the screen. The Main tab is where you can submit your trip request. You can view the trip request you have submitted. You can view the vehicle reservations and enter mileage for trips that you have created. For detailed instructions on these options, refer to the End User Guide. You may also want to view the Getting Started with the Travel Tracker embedded training video to help with the trip request form. Also in your Main tab, you have a quick reference for site administrators. Be sure you refer to your quick reference guide for site administrators to see all of the features that you have access to in the Travel Tracker. You'll see screenshots as well as step-by-step instructions for using the Travel Tracker as a site administrator. For you as a site administrator, the Calendar tab contains 3 calendars: the Vehicle Calendar, the Trip Calendar, and the Driver Calendar. For site administrators, the trip calendar is particularly useful as it shows all trips scheduled and is helpful for all users to look ahead to determine potential dates for scheduling trips. To see trips for only your location, use the School drop-down filter and filter down to only see the trips from your school. You can also use the Trip Type filter to view only certain types of trips, like the field trips from my school. If you are looking at all the trip requests, you may see that certain dates have been blocked. Notice the 10th. All trips have been blocked because it's a teacher work day. Blocked dates will show up in red. Notice also that some of the trips are in blue and some of the trips are in orange. The trips that are in blue are approved. The trips that are in orange are pending approval. Notice also there are scroll bars. If there are more trips going on a particular date than are visible in the date window, you can use the scroll bar and pull down to view all of the trips that are going on that particular day. The calendar also uses a hover feature. You can hover over any of the trips and a window will pop up with the details of the trip. If the trip has an assignment made, you can view the assignments for this particular trip. Notice on the trip calendar there is an embedded video for using the trip calendar, so feel free to use that to find out more about how to use the trip calendar. In addition to the trip calendar, you do have a vehicle and a driver calendar. The vehicle and the driver calendars have the same features as the trip calendar. You can hover and you can use the filters to find out information on the vehicles and the drivers that have been assigned to each day. Notice also there is a vehicle calendar training video embedded on the vehicle calendar, so feel free to view that for more information on using the vehicle calendar. If you'd like to view trip information for your location, you may find that very easy to do using the Trip Inquiry. The Trip Inquiry is available on several of your tabs. In the Trip Approval tab, we're going to take a look at the Trip Inquiry, but you can view the Trip Inquiry on multiple tabs. The Trip Inquiry option provides a flexible inquiry screen to find trips meeting multiple criteria selections. You can select filtering options using the selections at the top of the screen. You can make any combination of filter or search selections and then click on the Apply Filters button to see the trips that meet your selection criteria. By default, the screen will show My Locations in the Requesting Location filter and trips from this day forward. This will be most likely the view that you will need to see in order to see all of your trips. Simply click on the Apply Filters button to view your trips. We'll scroll down and there's all of the trip requests for My Location from this day forward. Notice there is an embedded trip inquiry video that will give you more information about using the trip inquiry. Site administrators are not normally in the flow of trip approvals unless you are also designated as a trip approval in the location setup table. However, as a site administrator, you do have the capability and the authority to approve trips if the primary approver is out and the trip needs to be approved. If you are required to approve a field trip, this can be done by clicking on the Trip Approval tab and then using the Trip Inquiry. The Trip Inquiry allows you to search for trips based on filters. Once you make your selection, click on the Apply Filter. If you want to see what trips need to be approved, then use the status here of you. So I have set my status to pending location approval, and I click the Applied Filter button. When I scroll down, I can see the trip requests that are still pending the primary approver's approval. If that primary approver at your location is not available and you need to approve these trips, then simply click anywhere on the trip information to open the trip request form. Review the trip information as you scroll through the trip request. If you need to select a funding source, you can do that in the funding source section using the drop-down. If you need to find out the estimated cost of a trip, you can use the estimator and view the estimated cost of the trip. And then you can approve that trip by clicking on the radio button next to the word approved. If you need to deny the trip, you can click the radio button next to the deny. Remember, if you are going to deny a trip, be sure that there isn't any changes that could possibly be made to that particular trip, and it will still be able to go for the students. Only deny a trip if the trip really will never go, no matter what changes are made to the request. If you need to send an email from the request form back to the requester, you can click on the Send Email button and send an email back to the requester, maybe perhaps asking them for some changes or some clarification before you approve the trip. Once you click on the Approved button, you will simply scroll down and save and close this, and then this trip will be approved. And we'll move on through the flow of approvers if there are more approvers that need to approve this particular trip. If you want to view all of the vehicle assignments for your location, click on the Assignment Inquiry option under the Trip Approval tab. If your district has elected to use the trip ticket, you can download and print a trip ticket from here using the button to print trip tickets for all. There is also a Print Trip Ticket button, Download a Trip Ticket with or without driving directions option if you would like to print the tickets out individually for each trip. The Assignment Inquiry option provides a flexible inquiry screen to find assignments meeting multiple criteria selections. You can select filtering options using the selections at the top of the screen. You can make any combination of filter or search selections and then click on the Apply Filters button to see the assignments that meet your selection criteria. By default, the screen will show my locations in the requesting location filter and trips from this day forward. This will most likely be the view that you need to see in order to see all of the assignments. Simply click on the Apply Filters button. Notice that you see how many trips meet your criteria and even an estimated cost of those trips. You can utilize any combination of these filters to find information that you're looking for. For example, if you only wanted to see field trip assignments, then you would use your filter for field trips. for field trips on the trip type. Maybe you only want to see certain status of invoices. Just show me my field trips invoices that have been approved for payment. And then if you click your Apply Filters button, you will see those particular assignments that have been approved for field trips. Let's look at the Vehicle Owner tab. All the trips that have been approved and are ready for a vehicle assignment will be listed under the Pending Vehicle Assignments option. If you would like to view pending vehicle assignments, this can be done by clicking on the Vehicle Owners tab and then selecting the Pending Vehicle Assignments option. The trips can be sorted in different ways by clicking on the button next to the sort option that you would like to use. All trips can be viewed, or trips from this day forward can be viewed. Click anywhere in the trip information to open the trip request. If you are a site administrator for more than one location, click on the drop-down arrow next to the vehicle owner to switch to a different vehicle owner. So I'm opening up the trip request. This is a request that's been approved and needs an assignment. So if I need to see what kind of vehicle has been requested and information perhaps about special travel needs, I can view that in the trip request. We can return to our list by clicking the Pending Vehicles option again. If you want to see trip requests that are pending a driver assignment, click the Pending Drivers option. We have provided a view to enter the trip mileage for multiple trips from the Vehicle Owners tab. Click on the Mileage Input option. Each trip that has not had mileage entered will be listed. There will be a column for estimated mileage and beginning and ending odometer reading. Enter the beginning and ending odometer reading for one trip or multiple trips and hit the Compute button. When you hit the Compute button, you will see the message Pending Change to remind you that you will have to click on the Confirm Changes button at the top of the screen to save the mileage that you entered. The School Finance tab allows you to view trips that are ready for payment regardless of the invoice. We have provided an easy way to see only outstanding trips that need to be paid, regardless of what invoice they're on. When you click on the School Finance tab, you will default to the Pending Payment menu option. View the invoice status of Approved for Payment. This will provide a list of all trips that have been released by transportation for payment. When you view the invoice status of Paid for a particular date sent, this will list out all the invoices paid on a particular date. The Print button on this screen will print out the invoices listed. If you need to review an invoice, you can click on the trip number to open the invoice. The top part of the invoice indicates the trip number, destination, date, the requester, any additional funding information. The Print button at the top will allow you to print a copy of the invoice if needed. If we scroll down, we see the costing information. If there was a driver cost, you would see that in the driver cost information. If there was a mileage cost and mileage had been entered, you would see a mileage cost information. Other costs may be indicated as you scroll through the invoice, and then you'll find a total cost. Scroll to the bottom and you will see information of the payment. And the overall status. Use the Invoices tab to see all invoice information. The invoices are broken out by non-yellow bus and yellow bus. Invoices are compiled into a monthly total that shows in this list. For example, the invoice number is the school number, a 2-digit year, a 2-digit month, and then a letter or letters that indicate if it's an athletic, field trip, or staff trip by F, A, or S. So the invoice for School 326 for 2016 of September and field trips. So these are showing all of the field trips that went out in September of 2016 for School 326. This list allows you to easily identify which invoices still have trips that have not been paid. Invoices that show with an amount due have trips associated with them that are ready to be paid. Each monthly invoice is comprised of individual trips from that month. If you click on the invoice number, you can open that month's trips and view a list of trips that went out that month and see invoice information and preliminary costing information as well as invoice statuses. For example, in this invoice, we can see that the invoice was approved January the 22nd. Payment was sent from the bookkeeper at the school on the 22nd, and it was received and reconciled and marked paid by the business office or the finance office on the 22nd. Notice the icons of an orange envelope and a green dollar sign that let you know that the invoice has been, the payment has been sent and it has been paid. Finally, the Reports tab gives you a way to export all the information from Travel Tracker into an Excel spreadsheet. You have the option to export information from the Travel Tracker. You can filter down the information that you need to export. At the very least, you will need to select the fiscal year, but you can filter on the other items as well. You have access to all of the trip information from your location for which you are a site administrator. Once you have made your filter selection, click on the Export to Excel for Windows or for Mac, according to your operating system. Notice that there is a quick reference guide for using the reporting export that will help you as you download and use the export. There is also a training video for using the reporting export in the training video library that you can find in the support and training link in the upper right. I hope that you have found out some interesting information and some useful information as a site administrator in the Travel Tracker. Thank you.